There are plenty of reasons to stay optimistic if you're in the crypto game, especially if you're an XRP holder. That said, I don't see XRP hitting a new all-time high this cycle unless the entire crypto market is moving upward too. Let's face it, if the broader market is crashing, it's hard to imagine XRP skyrocketing on its own. History just doesn't support the idea of a lone crypto going on a massive solo run. Sure, we've seen exciting moments like when XRP almost doubled in value after gaining legal clarity in July 2023. But even then, it didn't break its all-time high. So while the potential is there, it'll likely take a market-wide rally for XRP to truly soar again. It wasn't the easiest time to be an XRP holder, but let's face it, when the market isn't in bull mode, big moves just aren't in the car. That's the reality we were dealing with. But if an alt season is truly on the horizon, you can bet XRP will be leading the charge. In fact, it already is. Let me say it loud and clear. XRP is the #1 performing coin among the top 100 by market cap since the election, the top performer. That's no accident. XRP was held back for years, artificially suppressed. The market knew it, and now it's catching up in a big way. So if we're about to see that massive altcoin explosion, trust me, XRP is ready to shine. Let me give you insights from several XRP chart analysts, including one who believes the next big breakout could finally push XRP into double-digit territory, soaring past $10.00. The next surge might just be the one, that next explosive move. And honestly, it's not far-fetched. When XRP takes off, it really takes off. You've seen it in action. Just look at how it performed back in November. When the momentum hits, it's unstoppable. It's electric. It's what we've been waiting for. We've spent nearly 7 years waiting for XRP to hit a new all-time high, and we finally saw it in January. Now, over 7 years later, we're still waiting for XRP to enter true price discovery, but I'm confident it's coming. With that in mind, let me share some key insights to get you ready. This video is packed with XRP insights, but before diving in, let me say this. There are countless reasons to believe the entire crypto market is gearing up for a massive surge. I'll break down a few key points in this video, so stick around. Now, as someone deeply invested in XRP success, here's why the bigger market movements matter. They set the stage for XRP's moment to shine. When it finally takes off, it could be monumental. That said, let me be crystal clear. I'm not a financial expert, and this is not financial advice. Don't make any buying or selling decisions based on what I say here. Always do your own research. As of today, Saturday, May 3rd, 2025, XRP is sitting at $2.20, and Bitcoin has soared to $96,350.00. Since early April, fear has been spreading that people worried the world's collapsing, not just into a recession, but a full-blown depression. Some have even predicted it outright. But honestly, I've always felt that kind of doom and gloom was way overblown. Remember the panic back in 2020 during COVID? Same story, different year. Sure, markets tanked hard. March 2020 was brutal. XRP plummeted to $0.10, and the S&P 500, it dropped over 30. If give or take, I'd need the fact check, but it was a huge hit, no question. Everything looked like it was spiraling. And yet, was that the end of everything? Clearly not. Fast forward 5 years, and we're still here. The world's ticking along just fine. Tariffs won't destroy us either. Not permanently, not forever. Those doom and gloom predictions, totally overhyped. But hey, that's exactly what you'd expect during uncertain times. Now, with more data rolling in, let's shift gears. Check out this post from Unusual Whales on X, a massive account with 2.3 million followers that tracks all things stocks and crypto. Right, here's the takeaway. The S&P 500 has climbed for 9 straight days, marking its longest winning streak since 2004. Yep, you read that right. While some were bracing for a recession or even a depression, what we've seen instead is a remarkable rebound. The market has bounced back significantly from those scary lows. Why does this matter for XRP holders? Simple. If the world's not falling apart, remember that the stock market and crypto often move hand in hand. That's exactly why I'm bringing this up. The stock market is bouncing back and crypto's been on the rise too. Isn't that saying something? It's not the end of the world. It never was. Whether we've hit the actual bottom or not, the world was never going to crumble. Anthony Pompliano even reposted this and added, LMAO, imagine predicting a repeat of the Great Depression while the stock market is ripping in your face. He's got a point. The market's on its longest winning streak since 2004, 9 straight days of gains. Let that sink in. Now, check out this post from chart analyst Crypto Wizard showing the S&P 500 trend over the last decade. He asks, is this bearish? Why so quiet? I thought it was the end. Turns out the bulls stepped in strong, delivering a massive bullish pin bar. He notes we might see a pullback before the climb continues, but the higher time frame suggests the only direction is up. Patience pays, folks. This was never the end, just part of the cycle. Bears will be bears, won't they? Just take a look at this. It's always fascinating. Chart analyst Tech Dev shares some eye-opening insights. At the top, you've got gold prices. In the middle, Bitcoin, and at the bottom, global liquidity. Here's what he wrote. Gold goes parabolic, liquidity breaks out, flows to Bitcoin, plus rotation from gold since Bitcoin parabolic, not an original story. Basically saying we're living through a familiar cycle. Check out the dotted white line he highlights. It marks the most recent comparable moment. Back then, gold was surging upward, unlike crypto and stocks, which are risk-on assets. Gold is more of a safe haven during chaos and uncertainty. And here's the kicker. This was all happening during the COVID era. It's June now, but the real chaos likely unfolded months ago. Still, that's the backdrop we're talking about. During this period, gold surged dramatically, ripping to the upside. Why? Global liquidity was on the rise. Meanwhile, Bitcoin, often seen as a risk-on asset, lagged behind. No big shock there. Here's what happened. As liquidity soared, that's the green chart, gold went parabolic. This triggered a ripple effect. Some of that liquidity trickled into Bitcoin. Love it or hate it, Bitcoin benefited. And that's worth noting. Even if you're indifferent to Bitcoin, like, hey, I hold it, but I'm not thrilled about it. The implications are clear. The rotation out of gold into Bitcoin fueled its parabolic move, and that shift matters. He's pointing out that as interest in holding gold dwindles, the big question is, where will the money flow? For those feeling adventurous, it's likely to trickle into riskier assets like crypto or stocks. That's essentially the case he's making, and it's not the first time we've seen this shift. This is the reality we're living in right now. Just look at how all these factors are lining up. History is about to repeat itself, as it often does. Then when the market hits peak euphoria, XRP could emerge as the biggest winner. Seriously, out of the top 100 coins, I wouldn't be shocked if it claims the #1 spot or hovers close to it. During that euphoric surge, seeing XRP dominate wouldn't surprise me at all. Crypto enthusiasts, it's time to talk about what could be the most obvious play in the market right now. Let me share an intriguing snippet from the Daily Hodl. The article, titled "Crypto Likely Past Most Aggressive Selling Phase," features insights from Cosmo Jiang, general partner at Pantera Capital. Here's the scoop. Despite crypto's roller coaster ride after Bitcoin's all-time high in January, Jiang believes the tides are turning. He's optimistic that 2024 could bring a bullish run, even with lingering macroeconomic challenges. According to Jiang, this was a challenging quarter with large macro forces clearly in the driver's seat, causing a meaningful risk appetite pullback. Here's my take. Moments like these scream opportunity. Sure, the market's been shaken, and fear drum selling has hit everything from stocks to crypto. Yes, even XRP, but history shows these dips often set the stage for massive gains. You may not know where the bottom is, but in markets like these, fear is a seller and opportunity is knocking. You get discounts, plain and simple. And now with a bit more time behind us, it's easier to see why. Let's dive into the rest of the quote. The biggest challenge remains the uncertainty around tariffs and their ripple effects on the global economy. It's a murky picture reflected in historically low sentiment indicators. That said, these signals also hint that the most aggressive selling phase is likely behind us. End quote. Makes sense, right? Like nothing in life is guaranteed, but it adds up. We had a major sell-off driven by real-world events, and while it was intense, the worst may very well be over. Odds are we're moving forward, not backward. Here's a fresh update from Crypto Insight UK. Check out the XRP USD chart right in front of you. Now let's assume the analysts are right, those who say the worst is behind us, and chuckle at the doomsayers predicting a new Great Depression. We're seeing signs of recovery across the stock market and crypto, particularly in risk-on assets, which is definitely worth noting. So what does this mean for XRP? Personally, I believe XRP is set to shine as one of the top performing coins, if not the very best. The real question now is how far will XRP go when the next big breakout hits? That's where things get really exciting to think about. If you were paying attention back in November, you saw just how quickly XRP can explode after years of being stuck in a cycle of accumulation, held back by artificial suppression from regulatory hurdles. It finally broke free, and now everyone's wondering, is the next big move around the corner? The weekly charts look incredible, and here's the exciting part. This fractal analysis suggests XRP could skyrocket to $10.27 in its next major impulse wave. While this isn't a guaranteed prediction, it sparks some serious excitement. Thinking out loud here, but honestly, that target doesn't sound far-fetched at all. XRP's journey has always been an interesting one. If history tells us anything, it's that XRP tends to follow a pattern. In the last 2 cycles, it had an explosive first run, then moved sideways for about 6 months before taking off again with an even bigger rally. Well, guess what? It's been about 6 months since XRP started its upward climb. Could we be gearing up for that next major move? Let's see how this plays out. It wouldn't be the first time history rhymes. Even if it takes a month or 2 longer, those who stick around could see some impressive gains. Now, a user named Ripple Van Winkle chimed in asking if the next range would be $4.00 to $6.00 before another leg up, or if we're aiming for $8.00 to $10.00 right out of the gate. Crypto Insight UK responded saying, it's tough to say for sure, but things are looking similar to the last big rally. A push to $8.00 to $10.00 could happen faster than we think. And you know what? Moves like that always feel impossible until they're not. Just like back in 2017 when XRP did the unthinkable. We may not have hit a new all-time high in the last cycle, but let's take a moment to reflect on what really unfolded when the SEC came after Ripple. The news sent XRP's price into a free fall, crashing to around 16 cents from roughly 57 cents. The narrative, XRP was done for. It wouldn't stay in the top 10, and there was no chance it would rally that cycle. It was impossible, except it wasn't. A few months later, against all odds, XRP skyrocketed to $2.00. That wasn't supposed to happen, right? I've been told over and over that XRP had no strength left. It had lagged behind Bitcoin in the crypto market for years. The experts were convinced a rally was out of the question, but I disagreed. History shows us that when the market beats something down, that's often the moment of maximum opportunity. And guess what? It happened. XRP had its comeback, and suddenly everyone conveniently forgot their impossible claims. The mental gymnastics were a sight to behold, scrambling to explain away what just didn't fit their narrative. All right, here's the thing. It actually did make sense, and I'll tell you why. There's been a lot of that classic Monday morning quarterbacking, everyone chiming in after the fact, except this time it all clicked from the start. So is XRP's next leap going to hit $10.00? Who knows? But honestly, it doesn't seem far-fetched to me. Even if it takes a breather at, say, the $4.00 to $6.00 range, that wouldn't be shocking at all. This thing is, some people just aren't wired to be visionaries. They can't imagine what the future could look like until it's staring them in the face. By the time they finally get it, the future isn't ahead anymore. It's already here, living in the present. First, skeptics doubt it, then they believe it. Funny how that works. Take this update from Crypto Tony. XRP USD update. Let's consolidate, then pump, please. Well, that's exactly what's been happening. XRP has been in consolidation mode for months, and the longer this stage lasts, the harder the breakout tends to hit. If a euphoric blow-off top is in the cards, imagine what that next pump could look like. Crypto Tony seems confident it's coming. Oh, and he's also called for XRP to hit $10.00 this market cycle. Hold, right? Meanwhile, chart analyst Cryptos chimed in, noting XRP remains bullish above the pink support line. His take, short term, it's still looking pretty damn solid. Check out this post from XRP Analyst X-Force Global. It's packed with interesting insights. After diving in, one key takeaway stands out. XRP is flexing its strength, outshining some of the top coins out there. Think XRP, VSETF, Solana, and even Pepe. The difference? It's all in the price action. According to the Elliott wave theory, the data doesn't lie. We might be witnessing a historic shift this cycle, with XRP taking the lead for the first time. While many top coins have lost their structural support, XRP is holding strong and paving its own path forward. Ethereum, Solana, Pepe, and others seem caught in what looks like an AVC correction for now, while XRP appears ready to fire off into a powerful fifth wave. Now, don't get me wrong, these projects aren't going anywhere. Their time might just come later because at this point, the spotlight seems firmly fixed on XRP. How satisfying is that, folks? After years of drama and uncertainty, the driving narrative of this cycle, beyond Bitcoin, of course, centers on XRP. And honestly, it feels a bit like deja vu. Back in 2017, XRP was the star of the show, outperforming the entire asset class, not just large cap coins. Let's not forget, in 2017 and into early 2018, XRP didn't just climb, it skyrocketed by nearly 80,000%. After years of being held back, XRP is finally back on top, king of the castle once again. Just saying. I came across a post from Charting Guy, and he's asking how low XRP might dip before its final rally kicks in. He thinks there's a chance we could see a small pullback before it shoots to the upside, maybe hitting the $1.90 to $2.00 range. Even though Charting Guy takes a more cautious approach, he's still predicting XRP to top out at $8.00 this cycle. And honestly, that's on the conservative side compared to other analysts I follow. But let's not downplay it. If XRP moves from its cycle low of $0.28 to $8.00, that's an absolutely massive run, especially for a large cap asset. That kind of growth is nothing short of extraordinary. Look, I'm not saying it stops there. I honestly don't know. I'm digging into what could happen next because truthfully, I just don't have the answers yet. And predicting prices, that's not my thing. I'm no chart wizard, but hey, if the analysts out there calling for double-digit prices, $15.00, $20.00 or more are onto something, who knows? Maybe they're right. Do I think it's guaranteed? No. But is it impossible? Absolutely not. Crazy things happen in this space. Remember when XRP pulled an 80,000% run in 2017? Who saw that coming? Even the most bullish believers probably didn't predict a move that big. It's wild, but in crypto, wild is always on the table. You're not going to see that kind of massive jump anytime soon. There's just too much money tied up for a single cycle to deliver a skyrocketing percentage increase like that. Not in one go. It's just not in the cards. But here's the thing. It doesn't need to. You don't need a meteoric rise to achieve life-changing wealth. By 2025, XRP will still be in its growth phase, and there's still enough untapped potential to make meaningful gains. It's a golden opportunity for those looking to invest wisely. So as far as I'm concerned, there's every reason to stay optimistic. Just remember, I'm not a financial advisor, and you shouldn't buy or sell based solely on what I say. That, my friend, would be a very bad call.